So the longer that I've been here on YouTube making videos, the longer I've come to despise what I see as fucking cat ownage culture. On YouTube, it's common for people to use their platforms to try to destroy other YouTubers. Owning involves being uncharitable, decontextualizing arguments, being unfair, selectively editing, purposefully choosing poorly thought out arguments, and fanning the flames of a mob community who desire to feast on the humiliation of other human beings. This ownage culture goes against the goals and aims of some communities, particularly the so-called skeptic atheist community, in which rationality is given lip service. Instead of dialogue, conversations, and outreach, valid debates, well-researched and evidence-based content, which are interesting and thought-provoking, and make the dialogue move forward, what we get instead is histrionics, fear-mongering, and mob-based tribalistic thinking. This video will discuss a channel which is one of the very worst offenders on YouTube when it comes to behaving in this manner. This YouTuber goes by the name of Bearing. Bearing is part of the school of thought of YouTubers that hide behind cutesy animal pictures. Some examples are a dude that hides behind a kangaroo, a guy that hides behind an ape, a guy that hides behind a lion. In Bearing's case, the picture is very cartoonish and cutesy, and it conflicts with what he actually does, which I think is extremely cruel and negative. This video will explain how Bearing's channel operates by looking at some of his responses to obscure and significantly smaller channels, what the results of those invariably were in every single instance. Then I want to talk about whether Bearing bears any responsibility for the way his channel is run and how it functions, and then I finally want to wrap it up with some wider thoughts about internet bullying and harassment. So on YouTube, there's a number of channels which display an alarming level of tribalism and herd-like mob mentality in their followers. Channels particularly rife with this kind of groupthink are Atheism is Unstoppable and Sargon of Akkad. However, the channel with the most herd-like mob mentality I've ever seen on the entire internet is that of Bearing. Bearing follows an extremely simple formula. Step 1. Choose a small channel talking about feminism. Step 2. Make an extremely uncharitable and harsh response to said channel, chopping their argument up into tiny bits, removing context and generally being as insulting and mean-spirited as possible. I refer to this as the Sargon method. Step 3. Insult the person in the description box directly before linking to the original video. Step 4. This is the one in which unplausible deniability is applied, wherein all of Bearing's fans flood the original video with downvotes and negative hateful comments, unless instructed not to. More on that later. And Step 5. Overwhelmed and confused by this response, the feminist apologizes to Bearing in shame, or they quit YouTube, often deleting their video, or they struggle on unhappily and try to get through it. I will now look at a number of specific examples of this process in practice. Example 1. Bearing made a video called Arrogant Feminist Bitch-Splains Feminism. Slightly further down, he says, "This one's gone full retard. Original video linked." Now, Bearing makes a big deal of having a disclaimer which tells people not to harass people. He said that this disclaimer is in his videos and in his description box. Here it is. Note, it is not my intention to cause the original video publisher to receive any kind of harassment or abuse. My intention is to provide a counter-argument to claims they have made in a civil and courteous manner. I've provided a link to the original video for the purposes of verification and to allow those who wish to provide their own constructive criticism to do so. While I have no control over the feedback you choose to provide, I'd kindly ask that you avoid any forms of harassment or abuse. Thanks. The thing I found a little hard to take with this use of his disclaimer is the fact that the description directly above it and the fact it says this one's gone full retard just before he links to original video were extremely uncivil and insulting. He said he's providing counter-arguments in a civil and courteous manner, when literally, slightly above that, this one's gone full retard. Feminist with an overinflated sense of self-importance spews hypocrisy. She has a perfect understanding of what you think, whoever you are, while angrily insisting nobody knows how she feels but her because feminism. So could it be that your disclaimer is bullshit and it's covering your ass? After Bearing made this response, Biology Babe received 17,000 views, 4,955 downvotes. As you can see, the downvote bar is amazing. 99% downvotes. I suppose that was just a fluke, that what she was saying was so hideous. These downvotes simply reflect the quality of her video. If we look at Biology Babe's channel, we can see that she stopped making videos. And I don't even want to get into the comments, because they're pretty fucked up. Also, please note that at the time of recording this video, Bearing had 198,097 subscribers, and this tiny channel, which he totally fucked, has 290. So there's no imbalance of power there, is there? Example 2. This one is slightly older, but he responded to a feminist online with the video SJW Chick teaches how to calculate privilege. Now, because it's a bit older, oh my god, there was no disclaimer. So this is obviously going to be significantly worse than the previous one that we have seen. So let's take a look. Her video received 24,155 views, 6,617 downvotes. She has 210 subscribers. Okay, it seems like we're seeing a pattern of downvoting here, but let's check out some of the respectful, courteous comments. She will never be equal to men, for reasons that are abundantly obvious. What a fucking imbecile. It's no wonder you don't want to read the comments here. The truth hurts. You're telling me that a white kid from a poor family going to a school with a black majority who gets the shit kicked out of them daily is privileged by the color of their skin? Fucking retard. Because I'm sure that's exactly what she was trying to say. But awesomely enough, it seems that this girl continued to make videos, so that's good. His next response was called Another Confused Feminist is Wrong About Feminism. His disclaimer had not been implemented at this point. The original video is gone, and I guess she got chased off YouTube. His next video was Arrogant Male Feminist Wants Anti-Feminists Punished. He called him an arrogant white knight male feminist. And at least he said nobody should be sending anyone death threats. After linking to the original video again, he received 4,855 downvotes. So let's take a look at some of the lovely comments. You was a little bitch, now you an even smaller bitch. Not only are you deluded, you're weak. What the hell, fam? So what if Bearing raped you? You can't stand by your convictions or what? What, didn't have any in the first place, did you, huh? Now you cave like the cuck bitch you are. You're not even a worthy opponent anymore, you're a double traitor. You grape-looking simp mangina. Death threats? Dude, you're like 12 years old or something. You honestly think you're gonna get your dick sucked over this? The only people that agree with you here are other feminists. Guess what? You're a man, so other feminists fucking hate your guts. Talk about making oneself a pariah. Dude, I think you hurt its feelings. Bearing fans. So encountering this response, Right Bricks decided to make a follow-up video in which he apologized to Bearing. And then this happened.
Anyway, I reckon that was a really good response video. It certainly has my respect. Now, a lot of us were pretty vocal in our opposition to Matt's last video. At the time of recording this video, it's received 3,898 downvotes. I wonder if we can do better than 3,898 upvotes on his latest video, because that'd be pretty cool. I've left a link in the description.
And wow, look at this. After Bearing told his fans to try and upvote the video, it got 8,561 upvotes. Essentially proving that he can control his fans. He just needs to tell them, hey, we should go on this video and upvote it. If he doesn't tell his fans to upvote things, they don't upvote it. So all that shit about him having no influence over his fans, disproven. Next, another quick one. The disclaimer had been implemented by now. He made a video called Creepy Cookie Feminist Under Pressure of Feminism's Lies and Deceit. I make fun of another silly feminist because feminism is cancer, linked to original video. Civil and courteous manner, right. Oh wow, 13,294 views, 3,771 downvotes. I am amazed that the same thing is happening. She has 1,310 subscribers. Wow, he's picking on a small channel again, and it's getting flooded by negative comments again. This is so surprising. And quickly he responded to the Atheist Gamer, who has 1,990 subscribers, even though that guy is an anti-feminist. Now, the Atheist Gamer seems like a horrible human being, but I cannot get behind just further dogpiling just because I don't like that guy. It's still bullying. Now, I think the final example I'm going to discuss is possibly the most interesting one because it involves a person who made a horrendous video in the first place. So he started out as the bad guy, and I agreed with Bering that this guy was the bad guy at the start of this, but then by the end of it, Bering and his fans are so cruel and so unreasonable that I started to feel empathy and sympathy for this particular individual, despite his original video being terrible. So it was a guy called the Happy Cat Owner who made a video criticizing a 12-year-old for talking about why he hates feminism. Now, after making this video, Bering responded to him with a video smug SJW tries to own a kid and gets owned himself. Now, noticeably, he left out his disclaimer to be nice in this one. I watched the original video by Happy Cat Owner and I agreed. Why would you attack a 12-year-old? It's just a fucking 12-year-old. Who cares what he has to say? Just ignore him. However, it appears that the Happy Cat Owner, after receiving so much hate and negativity for what he did, perhaps rightfully so, he also renamed the original video to the worst video I have ever made. Normally the videos Bering responds to receive 4,000 to 6,000 downvotes. This was 26,000, so it's a lot more. And he said, geez, I'm an asshole. He was obviously sorry for this, so he made a follow-up video called The Inevitable Response.
I've seen Bering's video that he did on me. I mean, of course I have. And I've listened to what he said, suggestions and criticisms. Stuff that, like, I gave little to no evidence. I was unnecessarily harsh, especially to a child of his age, and my extreme hypocrisy. I'm not going to take down the video, as that would be the same as saying that this never happened. I'm sorry, Chicken Pot Awesome, for going after you so harshly. All I ask is that you, all of you, the people who came from Bering's channel, only take this out on me. I'm sorry.
Now, this received 33,723 views, and still, surprisingly, 5,365 downvotes. I found this quite surprising because he genuinely seems really torn up and really sad, like he's been extremely shamed. He's very regretful for what he's done. And yet, he's not being forgiven. People are not upvoting. People are not leaving friendly comments, no matter how sad he feels. Check some of this shit out. What you did wrong was turn your back on your beliefs. If you're gonna persecute kids, do it consistently. What the fuck? When you make a stupid video and a bigger YouTuber owns your ass. Bitch, you don't even realize how inane your ideas are. It's because you're mind-fucked. Grow up and rethink your basic premises. Embrace manhood and grow a pair. Stop being subservient to the matriarchy. Yeah, feminism is cancer. I can respect his apology, but him being sorry that he made his beliefs public is not the same as being sorry for having his beliefs. Him acknowledging his mistakes and making his belief public is not the same as acknowledging his beliefs were wrong and misguided. So basically it doesn't matter that he apologized. It doesn't matter that he picked on a 12-year-old. It's that he had feminist beliefs. What an absolute beta cuckold you are. Should have stuck to your guns. Now you're a cunt who picks on kids and says sorry when he's told to. Yeah, because when you pick on kids, you're not supposed to say sorry. That's alpha. Nah, I respect him for the apology. Still think he's a bag of dicks, but honestly, it takes a real man to apologize when they're wrong. Only asshats will stick to their guns even after being proven wrong. Edit. Not saying he's necessarily a real man, because he's so clearly a white knight loser, but I have to give him props. So this is the kind of feedback you get when you are sad that you've done something wrong because you've been shamed by Bering's fans. And I can tell you, if Bering's fans try to shame me, I'm not fucking apologizing to any of you pieces of shit. And what Happy Cat Owner did was still wrong. It's just this public shaming is ridiculous. Lastly, there is a YouTuber called Kevin Logan, or Kurt Logan. He receives a lot of hate because he's made a series called The Descent of Manosphere and is an outspoken feminist. He can take as good as he gives. A lot of people hate him and they call him like a fat potato man, but whatever, he just does his own thing. I just wanted to point out something that shows how dogmatic and systematic Bering fans are in their groupthink. So in his series, he takes on a lot of big YouTubers. He had one on Teal Deer, episode 7. He received 919 downvotes. Okay, so that's mostly down. The Amazing Atheist, he received 709 downvotes. Red Pill Philosophy, 184 downvotes. Okay, not looking too good, but it's to be expected. But when it comes to Bering, his episode received 3,892 downvotes, which is the standard number of downvotes any video about Bering receives. It's always the same pattern. So now that we've seen that this occurs in every single instance, even having the same levels of downvoting, what is the point of this video? Well, allow me to explain. I think Bering should not have support. in any community which has respect for freedom of thought and expression and an open dialogue in which people can discuss ideas. I think what he does is poison the dialogue purposefully, and he's a bully, and I don't think he has a place on YouTube, but of course, he's still going to have many fans because a lot of people seem to enjoy seeing this cruelty take place. In regards to Bering, I would say Bering does not deserve your respect, your sub, your views, your support, and most of all, your money. All I'm asking for is people to be better human beings to each other. It's simple. What this person does is bullying, it's weak, and you can tell because it's systematic and it's targeted. He's attacking people with less popularity, less confidence, less resources, and less ability to defend themselves, less of a chance to make their voice heard, and it's fucking wrong. It's even wrong when he does it to a strange anti-feminist person called the Atheist Gamer, who I don't agree with any of his views, and he himself has attacked feminists in very insulting and disgusting ways. But for Bering to get on his high horse and say, the way the Atheist Gamer attacks feminists is unacceptable and mean and cruel, he needs to just look at his own channel and see that he's in a glass house. And I think that the way that he picked on the Atheist Gamer was just as bad as the way he picked on feminists, no matter what I think of the Atheist Gamer's views. We don't tolerate bullying in many aspects of our lives. In schools, at work, in the home, why do we tolerate it so much online? Listen and try to understand other people. So people will say that this video is an appeal to emotions or fifis, and it is, because humans have emotions and feelings. I have emotions and feelings, so do you, no matter how much of an edgelord you are, no matter how cool you are, no matter how much you go around bagging on people in their comment section. And I challenge anybody who thinks that they're above this to say whether they've never been emotionally damaged by somebody's words, whether it was a family member or a friend or your peers or your colleagues. I don't think there would be anyone out there. And if ongoing systematic abuse involving an imbalance of strength and power is occurring, I don't care if it's on YouTube or anywhere else, it doesn't really have a place. You, the person watching, you have influence. You can change how you behave, not because you have to, but because it's the right thing to do. Changing shows human compassion. So you can save all of your straw men about censorship and Orwell and feelings having no place in human conduct. None of this impacts whether you have the ability to make a rational, conscious decision to treat others more respectfully. It won't take away any freedom you currently enjoy. It will help the people around you. It will be completely uncoerced and optional, and it won't make you less of a man or weak. So save that fucking alpha beta shit. That's something all of us, including Bering, even though he's Australian, and I guess Australians suffer with that, that was a joke, have the ability to do. But people online have become completely desensitized to the detrimental impacts of their behavior. And I think I've shown some of the detrimental impacts in this video. It's very obvious and clear to see. Now I'm just gonna sit back and brace for the talking points about Bering having no influence over his fans, having no responsibility for anything they do, despite evidence to the contrary, which has been clearly displayed in this video. I'm looking forward to it.
I'll say it again. Deep down, we are all the same. We all want to be happy. We cry when we're hurt. We're angry when we've been mistreated. And to be liked, accepted, and respected, not to mention loved, is the greatest gift of all. Yes, we're all alike. Know this, there's never been a moment in the 25 years of doing this show that I ever thought I was better than the people who appear on our stage. I'm not better, only luckier. So thanks for the 25 years. We've signed on to do a whole bunch more. And as long as I stay healthy, we will. And on that note, take care of yourself and each other.